Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Fight Night Picks. I am your host, Makai, and today we got UFC 313, Alex Poatan Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Let's break down the card, get into some picks, and without further ado, let's get it underway. Guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be sure to give you guys some more content. First fight on the card, we got John Castaneda taking on Chris Gutierrez. I'm happy the UFC was able to get John back on the card. You know, he was supposed to fight last week, but his opponent had some issues with the scale or something along those lines. This fight will be at 145, so that's good for him. He won't have to cut the weight again. So, with that being said, I will be picking John Castaneda. I like his output. He moves really well in the octagon. He's heavy. He is pretty heavy on his lead foot, but he can fight out of both stances. So I think that opens up, his options as far as striking goes. He has good head movement. It's not the best, but he does have his chin is pretty good. I think this fight will be similar to the fight that he had with Hong Kang. I hope I'm saying his name right. Mr. Perfect. I like John's cardio, and I believe he has the advantage in wrestling. Chris isn't that good off of his back, in my opinion. You know, he's known for spamming the leg kicks. He's a very good leg kicker. Would like to see. I don't know if he fought Jonathan Martinez, but I would like to see that matchup if they haven't fought already. I can't remember. But Chris, I'm not impressed with his boxing. The way he escapes, when somebody's coming at him, he tends to back up in a straight line. That's not very good for somebody who throws a lot of output. Like John, he'll be there to be hit. So that's definitely something to look out for. I think John is levels above him as far as wrestling and jiu-jitsu goes. He had his last fight. He fought Kwang Lee, and he was winning the fight the first two rounds, and then I want to say I think he shot for a takedown or he jumped on him, ended up getting ground and pound. It was like the last few seconds, nothing major, but it's just his IQ, questionable things that he does. He gave up his neck one time. He was not almost choked out, but he was in a compromised position. I don't really like Chris, man. He had that main event with Song Yadong, got worked. I'm going with John Castaneda. I think he's gonna put a really good volume on him. Wrestling will be there, and I like his striking better than Chris. Chris, all he got is the leg kicks. You're gonna need more than that to win a fight. This is MMA, not leg kicking. Moving on to the next fight, we got Jordan Santos taking on Ozzy Diaz. I'm gonna go with Santos in this one. Now there isn't much tape on Jordan Santos. I was trying to do some research. I found one of his fights on X1. I think it's like a Brazilian MMA league. So in that fight, the guy he was fighting, he wasn't really well. A lot of his opponents have been like low-level competition. But first round, he was winning majority of the exchanges. He did get caught in two chokes. Ended up taking the guy down, landed some ground and pound, got back up. And then he ended up finishing the fight. Ground and pound. He had him in like a guillotine and then finished the fight with some ground and pound. But he did. I want to say that fight was at like light heavyweight, and looking at him on the Contender Series, definitely trimmed down, was in much better shape. So this is going to be this is a middleweight fight compared to him fighting at 205. The competition level was really low looking at some of his opponents, but he had an impressive finish on the Contender Series. Like his forward pressure. He loves the jab. He has a really good jab. And then for Ozzy Diaz, he has been not in the UFC, but he was on the Contender Series a few years ago. Got knocked out by Joe Bodybags Pyfer. It was a really nasty knockout. He did fight Dominic Reyes a while ago. Got finished in like the first 10 seconds. He has better competition under his name, but he's also 34. He's seen, He had a win off of a 40-year-old Chuck Campbell last time out. Wasn't really impressive. It's hard to pick, an older guy against. Not that Jordan Sanders was much younger, but he's younger, he's fresher, uh, more powerful, and Ozzy his chin has been tested already. So I'm gonna go with Jordan Santos. There's not much tape, but from what I saw, I expect him to get a finish in this one. Moving on to the next fight, we got Francis Marshall taking on Myron Santos. I think Myron gets a knockout. Not, as crazy as his contender series, or not contender series, the Ultimate Fighter finale finish was over Conor. Hopefully that was nasty. But I do think he will get a knockout in this fight. So Francis Marshall, he's a solid wrestler. He's got a good overhand right, but he is very hesitant with either, attempting a takedown or when he's picking his shots. He likes to sit and feel like how the pace of the fight is going rather than engaging, leading the dance, basically. Myron Santos, on the other hand, he's a very slick striker. He's got really good power for the featherweight division, and he's going to be pushing the tempo a lot. I like his head movement, solid takedown defense, and the way so like I was saying with Chris Gutierrez, who likes to back up in a straight line, Santos, he's always exiting on like an angle. So that's hard, for guys to hit when they try to put together a combination. So I definitely like that about Myron Santos. I think he does find a finish. I think it's going to be hard for Marshall to land clean on Santos because of that. And Santos has a really good variety of strikes to choose from. I like his teeth down the middle. He chops the lead leg kick, which will put Francis Marshall in a compromised position when he wants to, decide to shoot for a takedown. His leg's going to be beat up. So I like Santos. I like the striking from him. I like his takedown defense. I think he gets a really good finish on this one. Moving on to the next fight, we got Alex the Great White Morono taking on Carlos the Lion Leal. Not Leal, or Leal. Had to figure out how to pronounce his name. But I will be picking Leal, Carlos. The line, however, it's kind of disrespectful in my opinion for Morono. I think he has like at least 15 fights in the UFC. So to see him be a plus 440, 430 underdog on some books, I think that's a little disrespectful. But Morono is, when I was watching his tape, he has like a very awkward, jittery style. Like he's really bouncy on his feet, which is good, but his striking doesn't match his style, if you get what I'm trying to say. He throws a lot of looping shots. His hooks sometimes come around with his fist, facing out rather than, how you're actually supposed to throw it. He ducks a lot when he's throwing his hands. He does have solid grappling. He puts a lot out there for you to, have to counter. But I don't know, man. I think the only way he'll be able to really win this fight is if he can take Carlos down, which we saw. Carlos actually had really good takedown defense when he was fighting Fakhretdinov out in Abu Dhabi, which a lot of people felt he won that fight. I actually had Fakhretdinov in a parlay, so thank you to Abu Dhabi for giving him that decision. But I definitely wasn't confident about it. But hey, parlay cashed. But yeah, Leal, and then another thing too, that was his debut, and a lot of people were speculating if he was on PEDs, if you saw, a lot of the body acne. And I think around that time, that's when USADA just left the UFC. So I don't think he's on PEDs. Maybe something else going on. But I like Carlos's heavy forward pressure. Really good kickboxing. He's got power in both of his hands. He has a really good chin too. I don't think Alex has enough to knock him down or anything like that. He chops the leg kick really well. And when Alex might shoot, or decide to shoot, Carlos has a tendency to throw a knee right up the middle. So look out for that. He threw it a couple times against Renat. Landed a few of them. I think he cut him open with the third one that he threw or something like that. But I really like his striking. So I'm picking Carlos. I'll go Carlos let's just go Carlos inside the distance. Maybe like the second round. Moving on to the next fight, we got Bruno Ferreira taking on Armen Petrosyan. The odds are pretty close on this one. I'm going to lean towards Armen though. So I know, he got knocked out last time out against Shara, but you guys have to understand that a double spinning back fist elbow is like a once in a lifetime shot. I don't think many people are putting, that combination together just, all willy nilly. It was really impressive. I don't think Bruno is the type of person to put that together. I think Shara Bullet was way more creative than him. And then for Armen, he does have some good wins on his record. He beat Chris Leroy Duncan by decision, and he also beat RoboCop. Now Bruno also knocked RoboCop out, but MMA math doesn't always work out like that. Armen did go the distance with Kaio. He lost, but Kaio was also in the title picture, so I like the opposition that Armen has been fighting. And I think he held his own against Shara as well. And he also puts a lot out there for Bruno to have to counter. Now, Bruno, to me, he's like a first round or die type of fighter. He's very explosive, but when he throws his shots, he leaves his chin out in the air. So it's like, wide hooks, but his chin is always exposed. I think Armen can definitely counter that. He fights really tight too. His guard it's here. It's very good for defense, but it's hard for him to. I think it'll be hard for him to get his shots off against Armen, who can counter a lot of that. I think Bruno will be put on his back foot a lot in this fight too, because Armen likes to lead, the pace of the fight. And Bruno doesn't like being backed up. Now, he is really dangerous off the cage. That's how he got that knockout on RoboCop. But I think Armen will be able to see most of his shots coming. Just needs to, be defensively sound. And I think he could get a win here. Probably, I think this one might go to decision, honestly. Moving on, we got the flyweights. Ray Saruya taking on Joshua Van. I'm going with Joshua Van until we see him get matched up with like a top 10 guy, honestly. Ray Saruya, he's a road to UFC winner, but the road to UFC hasn't really produced much as far as competition goes. They had Anshul Jubilee, who got knocked out earlier this year, and then like Rinya Nakamura, who just lost to Muin Gafarov earlier this year as well. Ray, he is a slick grappler. He does have an active guard. He's coming off a win against Carlos Hernandez, who to me is closer to the bottom of the barrel of flyweights, whereas Joshua Van has been progressing to almost championship level, honestly. In that fight against Carlos, he went for a suplex in the third round, ended up in damn near full mount. So it's another guy who I question his IQ at times. He was winning the entire fight and up until that, and I'm pretty sure he lost that round off of that. Now for Joshua Van, I love the way he strikes. He goes to the body a lot in his combinations. That's one of the most impressive things about him. A lot of guys don't, put a combination together and focus on the body. He has solid takedown defense. And like I said earlier, I think he's top 10 caliber flyweight right now. He's a dog. He was in that tough fight against Chirez, got clipped with that spinning elbow, but he came back, won the fight. I like Joshua Van. I definitely think he wins this fight. it's hard to say if he'll get a finish or not, because he does have to be mindful of the jiu-jitsu. But I'm definitely picking Joshua Van. I see Joshua Van matched up with a top 10 opponent next. So I can't say the same about, Ray Saruya. Yeah, Joshua Van, however, he's definitely going to win. All right, moving on to the main card. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Boost the algorithm for me. It'll mean so much. And let's get into it. So to open up the main card, we got Curtis Blades taking on Rizvan Kuniev. I think this is disrespectful to Curtis Blades. I mean, he lost the interim belt to Tom Aspinall last time out. And then they're going to give him a guy who's debuting. That's pretty disrespectful. I know the heavyweight division is really thin, but I would have matched him up with probably I don't know, Cyril Gahn maybe. I think Gahn was hurt after the Volkov fight, but that's more respectable than giving him Kuniev. They must have high expectations for this guy, but I don't know. Kuniev also got one of his wins scrubbed because he tested positive for some PEDs. It was the Renan Fieta fight. The guy that Francis obliterated. But looking at the tape, Curtis Blades, he's a really good wrestler. That's his bread and butter. He but most of his losses are to champions. It was Tom and Francis Ngannou beat him twice. He lost to Sergey Pavlovich, who's a hell of a power puncher, and then Derek Lewis, who's another power puncher. I don't see that type of power coming from Kuniev. He is a slick striker. I like his kicks. He likes to clinch and shoot for takedowns. Kind of like a general Dagestani fighter. But I think Curtis Blades is being disrespected in this fight. I'm not a matchmaker, but I definitely want to match these two up. I think Curtis is going to get a finish, honestly. Maybe in the third round, I can see them doing a lot of grappling early on. Kuniev probably shooting in, getting in the clinch, trying to take Curtis down. I don't think that would be smart of him. I can't remember who. Drop in the comments if you guys can remember who took Curtis Blades down. I'm not really. I know Tom dropped him, but that was with a punch. But yeah, I can't recall seeing Curtis Blades on his back much. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys could figure it out. Kuniev. Yeah, he's a solid striker. He had the finish on Contender Series, but I think this is just reaching for the sky, giving him, Curtis Blades. I think this is a little disrespectful, but we'll see when it plays out. Who knows? I could just be talking out of my ass. So I'm going with Curtis Blades though. Moving on to the lightweight division, we got King Green taking on Mauricio Rufy, a.k.a., the Brazilian Conor McGregor. Now, he got that nickname originally for a good reason, but after that Yontop fight, it's aging like Conor versus Dustin. Rufy was gassed after that first round, and Yontop is not, a top-tier opponent. Rufy had a very hard time putting him away. Yontop, you got to respect his chin. Yontop does have a chin, but Rufy was having a really hard time putting him away. He loads up a lot on his shots, trying to find, the picture-perfect knockout. He had the no-look hook. That was fire, I got to admit. But Yontop ate it. Not saying that, Green is going to eat it, but I think this is a really good fight of the night. I think this is a really good fight, and I think it will get fight of the night. I think both of these guys like to put on performances, basically. This is exactly what this fight was booked for. It's either going to be like a first round knockout from Rufi, or it's going to be 3 rounds, similar to how like Fiziev and King Green went. With King, he did beat Jim Miller. Was that 2 fights ago? It was impressive, but Jim Miller is a tier below, the competition that he should be fighting. He's a very good gatekeeper now. Honestly, I think he's outside of the rankings. So this is the fight that will get Rufi matched up with ranked opposition after this. If he gets an impressive victory or victory overall, but I think both of them. Well, I think Green definitely needs to stay disciplined in his fight. He likes to fight with his hands at his hips. He will get caught trying to entertain. If he ends up doing that, then I could see Rufi landing the shot. But I do like the edge as far as gas tank goes to go to Green. He can put together a solid 3 rounds, whereas Rufi, we saw him getting really, really tired trying to knock out Yantak. He does have that wide karate-like stance, similar to Conor. He is a very good showman. He had the flying heel hook attempt on Jamie Malarkey, finished him. But yeah, I think this will definitely get like fight of the night, or Rufi gets performance of the night. But yeah, I am picking Rufi. The odds are really wide for what we saw last time out. It was a catch weight, so Rufi didn't have to cut as much, but that was very weird to see. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Rufi. First round knockout. If it goes past the first round, it will definitely be entertaining and interesting, because I think the pace that Green is able to keep will give Rufi some trouble if he can't get him out of there in that first round. So I'll be interested to see what his weight cut looks like too. See what he looks like on the scale. If he looks like drained and depleted or anything. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Rufi, but I think Green can give him some trouble if he survives the first round. Moving on to the women's strawweight division, we got Amanda Lemos taking on Yasmin Lucindo. Trying to work on my pronunciation a little bit. I think this is going to be a really, really close fight. I look at them and they're pretty similar to me. I will say that the edge that I give to Lucindo is she trains with Verna Jandiroba, who she just submitted Lemos. So her team is actually really familiar with how to approach Lemos. So that is important to note. So with Lemos, she has very good power in her strikes, whereas Lucindo is more of an accumulation of her strikes. She doesn't have much pop behind them. She also has the takedown advantage, which will give Lemos some trouble. We saw that in her title fight with Wei Li. She was getting taken down left and right. And then Jandiroba, submitting her. I like the combinations that Lucindo throws up close in the pocket. She does leave her head. She lacks head movement, which could be a problem when you're facing a power puncher like Lemos. But Lemos is, 37? Yeah, almost 38 years old. So you have to go with the younger, hungry fighter. I think if Lucindo can mix in the grappling, mix in the takedowns, put a pace on her, keep the striking output high, she'll definitely get it on the scorecards. I definitely see Lucindo very, very close decision. I think the first round will probably be the closest, and the third round is where I can see Yasmin pulling away. So I'll give it to her 29-28 Lucindo by decision. Moving on, in the lightweight division, I have been waiting for this fight, honestly. I am a very big fan of both of these guys, but I gotta go with Ignacio. So we got Ignacio Bahamondes taking on Jalen Turner. I'm picking Ignacio. I've been a fan of Ignacio since he landed that spinning head kick on Roosevelt Roberts. That was very impressive. Crazy finish. I actually picked Manuel Torres to beat him on a sphere card, and he knocked him out, and I was shocked. But I think these guys are like the same fighter. They got the same. They're the same height, same reach, same frame, literally. The reason why I'm picking Ignacio is because we've seen Jalen break. Hooker broke him. He didn't finish him, but he broke Turner. He hurt him bad with a broken arm, and then he pulled that bullshit against Moicano, where he thought he finished him. Ref was like, "I'm not stopping the fight. Keep going." And then Moicano comes back and finishes the fight. It's not looking good for Turner. He did at one point in time look like not top 5, but maybe like top 8 to 12. But after that with Moicano, I was like, man, it's hard to see him going any higher than what he already was. Bahamondes, however, what is he? I think he's like 2 years younger. Yeah, he's about 2 years younger. They got the same striking tool bag, which is very interesting. I hope this fight stays on the feet. I think they're similar as far as like wrestling and jiu-jitsu goes. Turner might have the jiu-jitsu advantage. I think he is a black belt, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to research that. But I do think Jalen Turner has his black belt in jiu-jitsu. Not sure about Bahamondes, but I hope this fight stays on the feet. This is exactly what this was booked for. I really like Ignacio to get the win, though. I think he can pull it out. Yeah, looking at his record here. Yeah, he lost that split decision to Gamrot. Submitted Brad Riddell. That knockout over King Green was bad too. The ref didn't stop it until I think Green went to sleep like 3 times. That was a bad stoppage. But I like Ignacio to win this one. I think he's better in the pocket. I think he lands some counters that could hurt Jalen in the pocket. This is a really good fight. I've been waiting for this fight for at least 2 years now. I've been hoping that this got booked. But yeah, I'm going with Ignacio on the scorecards. That's where I'm gonna go. Ignacio on the scorecards. But Ignacio's the pick. Moving on to the co-main event. We got the baddest mother effer on the line. Justin, the highlight Gaethje, taking on Rafael Fiziev. Justin as the underdog. Well, the line is a little closer now, but Justin as the underdog is a little crazy. I'm kind of shocked. Seeing that he got a win over Fiziev already. Fiziev is coming back off, what was it, like a torn ACL, torn MCL, and we haven't seen him yet. I know he was training. I think he was training for like the Gamrot rematch or something. But Gaethje's been training for 5 rounds. It was gonna be against Dan Hooker. I gotta give Justin respect for taking this fight. You know, in the past he has said that I'm not taking short notice fights, but he ended up doing it. I mean, you kind of have to when you got the BMF belt, you know. But respect to Justin, definitely. But Justin as underdog, I'm definitely taking it. I think the books think that Justin is washed because of that knockout. But he took, how long has it been? It was almost a year. Now, that's completely different from, Volk taking the fight against Islam, and then taking a short notice fight against Islam, getting knocked out, and then 3 months later, because he was so antsy trying to get back in the ring, fought Ilya, and then got knocked out again. This is completely different. So I don't know if that's what they're thinking, because he got knocked out by a featherweight. But it was almost a year ago. He definitely took, the appropriate amount of time to recover, to heal, and he's been training. He's been looking well in his vlogs that he does on YouTube. I am a little disappointed that this fight isn't 5 rounds, but it was a short notice replacement, 3 rounds. I guess we're gonna have to take it. I think this fight is gonna look a lot similar to the first one. I think Justin's definitely gonna spam the leg kicks a lot more, knowing that Fiziev is compromised. Basically, we haven't seen him come back from the injury yet. I don't know if they had trouble booking him a fight or what. Let me see if he had some fights canceled. I don't think so. I know he was talking about he was training for somebody and then something happened. But Justin always has the option to wrestle. I think he's going to tear that leg up. Whichever one it is, I can't remember. I just remember seeing the injury. I can't remember which leg Fiziev actually hurt. But Justin's definitely going to have a higher output. He was training for 5 rounds, whereas Fiziev was just training for a fight. Definitely wasn't going to be a 5-round fight for him to come back from. But yeah, I think Fiziev will be a little slower than their first matchup. He does have some slick combinations, though, especially in the pocket. Gaethje does tend to hang out in the pocket a little too long for my liking. But I think he'll be able to escape a lot quicker since Fiziev is coming off of that injury. I think he's gonna chew that leg apart. I'm telling you. I definitely see him spamming it as soon as the bell rings. He's spamming it, and then I think, yeah, I just don't. I can't think of the reason why the books got him as an underdog. I think he opened at like plus 130, 125, somewhere around there. That's kind of weird. They must know something, but I can't see a legitimate reason. Gaethje was probably going to be in the title picture with a win against Dan Hooker. And I know Islam did say he wants to fight someone he didn't fight before. So he was definitely looking at most likely the winner of Gaethje Hooker. But now that Ilya's in the division, they're definitely gonna book Ilya versus Islam before they do Islam versus Justin or Fiziev if he manages to win this fight. But I definitely got Justin winning. Ilya versus Islam. Hopefully we get that International Fight Week. I'm really interested in that fight, and then Justin gets the winner of that. And for the main event,
Joe DC and I remember.
Alex Poatan Pereira taking on Magomed Ankalaev. I gotta go with Shaman. I think this is gonna be a very close fight, though. But I think Alex pulls it off, honestly. Now, the one thing that definitely concerned me in this fight is that Magomed is also a southpaw, like Khalil, who gave Alex trouble, but Alex did have staff in that fight. Another thing that concerns me is who's gonna win the middle of the map. Who's gonna be put on the outside? I've never seen Alex get walked down. I'm pretty sure he's going to be walking Magomed down, but it'll be interesting to see if Magomed gives into that. So that's definitely another thing to note. That's going to be another key point for sure. The leg kicks, we all know that's one of Alex's go-tos. Magomed struggled against Jan with that. His leg was chopped, I think, by like round 4. I'm pretty sure Alex kicks a lot harder than Jan does, and I don't think Magomed has the power in his hands that Alex does. You know, that left hook is yet to be beaten. I mean, Izzy beat it, but barely. He got hurt in that second fight too, and his leg was chopped in that second fight. You know, Magomed, he has the knockout over was Johnny Walker, but honestly, if he blow on Johnny Walker, he's gonna get knocked out. And then he beat Rakic, but it wasn't that convincing, honestly, to get a title shot. But we all know this fight had to be booked. But if you look at Yuri versus Jamal Hill, I would have had no issue if they said, you know what, let's do it a third time. Yuri's finish over Hill was way more impressive than Rakic. Ankalaev beating Rakic. They went all 3 rounds, and he never seemed to really look for a finish, which I really had an issue with. If you're, you know, I want the title, but you're not looking to finish who they put in front of you so you can get to the title. But this fight definitely had to happen. Honestly, if Alex finishes him, he's going to be a top 5 fighter of all time. I think he's been the quickest to win 2 belts in 2 divisions. He's already a GOAT, but if he finishes Ankalaev, there's absolutely no debating it. If he wins this fight, I would hope they get the John or Tom Aspinall fight booked. If John decides to retire, let Tom, you know, unify the belt or officially fight for the belt. And then I want to see Alex versus Tom, or Alex versus John if they end up fighting, or if Tom and John end up fighting. But this fight here, I think Alex finds the shot. I think he's going to walk Ankalaev down after like the second round. First round is going to be really interesting to see, you know, how the exchanges go. But I don't think Ankalaev has the power that Khalil did, even though Alex did have staff. That 4th round he put on was amazing. He was, you know, they said he was like in the Matrix. That was one of the nastiest rounds I've ever seen. I think Alex gets it done. It's hard to say if he gets a knockout or not. Magomed is pretty good defensively, but I think with that leg kick, it's going to cause him a lot of trouble. I don't know if he's going to be as mobile as he likes to be. And Magomed is used to, you know, being the one that's leading the dance. I don't see Alex being pushed around the ring or the octagon much. I don't think he's going to do it in this fight either. And there's a little bit of bad blood in this one. I think it was like yesterday, Alex tweeted at him, told him let's bet on the fight. Whoever wins, it's like $200,000 to the winner's choice or winner's charity of choice. And then Magomed was like, it's Ramadan, you know, Muslims don't bet. We can handle this a different way. But they definitely been talking spicy for a few months now. This fight is really going to be interesting. I think what are the odds? It's damn near a coin flip. Well, Pereira is the favorite now, but I know when it opened, Ankalaev was the favorite. And everyone's concerned with, you know, Ankalaev taking him down, but Ankalaev does not use his wrestling as much as people are like, you know, expecting him to. He didn't really, I don't think he shot a takedown against Rakic either. And I think they fought pretty similar. They were both trying to stay on the outside and pick each other apart. I don't think he's going to have much success with the takedowns. It'll be in his timing, honestly. We'll see how he works that in. I don't think he does, though. But if he does, I know Alex has something waiting for him. He's definitely been training for it. You saw him. I don't know if you guys saw him, but on his, I think it's his Twitter or Instagram, him and Glover have been working. Glover's been his coach for, since the Izzy fight, the first Izzy fight, I think, maybe even before that. Yeah, I think he was his coach when he fought Bruno Silva too. He did get taken down. Izzy took him down. Jan took him down, and pretty sure Bruno took him down. I just don't know if Magomed's gonna wrestle. I don't think he will. I think he likes to stay. He likes to stay on his feet. Pick his opponents apart from the outside. But I don't think he's gonna have success doing that with Alex. So he might resort to wrestling. But I think Alex is gonna find that shot, or this could go to decision. This is a really good fight. I can't wait to watch it. I know you guys can't wait to watch it. I wish I didn't have to pick a winner in this one, but I'm gonna go with Poet Time. I think he's gonna get it done. He'll be like the undisputed king of light heavyweights, and this victory will definitely put him top 5 greatest of all time. Yeah, I think Alex gets it done. All right, guys, let me know in the comments what you thought about the breakdown, what you thought about the picks. I know you guys are excited to watch this fight. I'm excited. Can't wait for Saturday. Just thinking about it, it was hard to pick some of these winners, some of these losers. But this is one hell of a card. On paper, I got to give it like an 8 or a 9. These are really good fights. I'm really excited. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the review. Thank you guys for the support, and I'll check you guys later.